2 years ago today, we were stood here with the world's press where we released the first bison into the Blean. There's 6 of them now, they're slowly breeding. It's amazing to see the changes that have happened out here. So you see this area of really thick regrowth of woodland behind us. It was incredibly dense before.
England shocked many people when it released just 4 European bison into a struggling woodland near Canterbury. Some people laughed, others doubted the idea. How could 4 animals change a forest that had been slowly dying for years? The trees were too dense, the ground too dark, and life was fading away. It seemed like an impossible task. But within weeks, something unexpected began to happen. The forest started to open, breathe, and come alive again in ways no one predicted. Paths appeared, light returned, and hidden life began to rise. But how could just 4 bison transform an entire forest so quickly? Join us to find out. When the forest woke up overnight. In the woodland near Canterbury in July 2022, a subtle yet impactful event occurred. European bison, absent from the forest for millennia, were reintroduced with only 4 individuals. Despite their small numbers, the impact was significant, as if the very land had been anticipating their return. Initially, there was nothing out of the ordinary to be seen. 3 women entered the forest with a sense of tranquility and determination. Sometime later, a male counterpart entered the picture. However, the females had already started their task even before his arrival. They acted independently, without any supervision or training. They solely relied on their natural instincts, which ended up being revolutionary. Shortly after her arrival, the dominant female wasted no time in heading towards a dense growth of shrubs. These shrubs had grown unruly over a long period, undisturbed and burdensome. Without hesitation, she thrust herself into the thick foliage, breaking branches and shaking leaves as she advanced. With a single powerful motion, she tore the plants apart.
This group is mainly mothers with new calves, which are a distinctive shade of red.
Moving on to a nearby tree, she mercilessly stripped long pieces of bark from its trunk, revealing the pale wood underneath as if exposing a new injury. Nearby, the younger female animals descended to the ground. They repeatedly rolled around, their large bodies pushing into the dirt. Their hooves dug deep, effectively overturning the soil. Suddenly, the earth, covered with layers of leaves for an extended period, was now uncovered and exposed to sunlight and air. They acted on their own accord. There was no guidance or blueprint created by people. However, each action they took held significance. In a matter of weeks, the transformations started to become evident. Dense, thorny bushes that previously hindered movement were flattened. Fresh trails emerged in locations where there were previously none. Sunlight started to penetrate the forest ground once more, illuminating areas that had been shadowed for many years. The woods were no longer quiet. It was beginning to stir. Life quickly emerged from the bison's droppings, with tiny larvae sprouting and fungi expanding rapidly. Observers were amazed by the speed of this phenomenon, as if nature had been anticipating the bison's return and was eager to spring into action. In order to grasp the significance of this, it is necessary to delve further into the depths of the forest. Many forests in England appear to be in good condition when viewed from the outside. The trees are towering, with a dense canopy of green leaves overhead. The forest floor is carpeted with fallen leaves, creating a serene and vibrant environment.
Bison roam its 2.2 million acres, an area nearly as big as Rhode Island and Delaware combined.
That picture may lead to false impressions. Many of these forests are facing difficulties below the outer layer. Throughout the course of several years, human intervention altered their natural growth patterns. Some regions were harvested and maintained for timber resources, while others were neglected for an extended period. Gradually, the upper layer of vegetation became overly thick, resulting in diminished sunlight access to the forest floor. Small plants cannot thrive in the absence of light, resulting in the disappearance of flowers and the gradual fading of shrubs. Once thriving layers within the forest ecosystem began to diminish as grasses ceased to spread. When the plants vanished, the bugs also went away. This led to a decrease in food for birds and bats. Gradually, the ecosystem within the forest started to diminish. The forest appeared robust from the surface, but lacked vitality within, resembling a vibrant facade with sparse inhabitants below. The issue was also being experienced in the forest near Canterbury. Referred to as West Blean and Thorndon Woods, it covers a vast expanse and has a rich past. Traditional techniques had been employed for a while to maintain the area. The trees were chopped into pieces and excess vegetation was removed. Machinery was utilized to create open areas. The attempts made had a temporary impact. The brightness would come back. Vegetation would flourish once more. However, the outcome was always short-lived. As soon as the activities ceased, the covering overhead would thicken once more. This process would continue to happen repeatedly. Constant effort, time, and money were necessary for this type of work. It was not feasible to sustain this operation indefinitely over such a vast territory. Still, there was something unique waiting to be discovered under the surface. Studies conducted before the bison's arrival revealed the presence of rare species thriving in the woodland. Various species of spiders quietly coexisted among the foliage, some of which had not been observed in Britain for a considerable amount of time. Additionally, rare beetles could still be found in the area. Notably, unique birds like nightingales and woodpeckers continued to inhabit the region. Life existed in that place, although it was delicate and required specific circumstances in order to flourish and propagate once more. That is the point at which the bison entered the scene. Bison do not adhere to a strict routine like machines do. They roam freely at all hours, breaking through dense vegetation and opening up new areas.
Today, almost 2,500 live in Yellowstone. It's one of the greatest comeback stories in conservation history.
By stripping bark from trees, they can unintentionally weaken or even topple them, allowing more sunlight to filter through to the ground and encouraging the growth of new vegetation. Their large bodies disrupt the ground, forming minor areas of exposed soil. These areas serve as ideal spots for seeds to land and thrive. Their excrement nourishes insects and fungi, which in turn helps sustain various other organisms. The forest benefits from each movement made by the bison, as there is purpose behind every action. There is a sense of interconnectedness and efficiency in how everything operates within this ecosystem. They are constantly engaging in this activity, displaying immense power without relying on machinery or human supervision. The continuous workflow never ceases. Within a short period of time, the alterations brought about by these creatures surpass the results of meticulous human work spanning several years. The forest showed signs of regeneration, not due to coercion, but as a result of restoring its natural equilibrium. But before we explore its effect on the forest, what's the story behind these bisons? Let's find out. The European bison. The European bison holds the title of the biggest terrestrial animal indigenous to Europe. This majestic creature possesses both physical strength and a sense of tranquility. Fully grown male bison can reach impressive sizes, with sturdy, weighty bodies ideal for traversing forest environments. Their dense fur, robust necks, and broad shoulders facilitate navigation through woodland areas and thick vegetation effortlessly. A lot of individuals view bison as creatures that reside in vast grassy fields, similar to the ones commonly depicted in images of North America. However, the European bison is unique in that it thrives in wooded areas. It navigates through trees, trudges through foliage, and influences the landscape in subtle yet significant ways. For many centuries, these creatures thrived throughout Europe, playing a crucial role in the ecosystem of forests. Their movements carved out new trails, their grazing habits altered plant growth, and even their moments of rest had an impact on the soil. Every single action they took played a part in shaping a vibrant and diverse environment. Gradually, they started vanishing. For centuries, mankind has been hunting these animals for various purposes, such as food and materials. Concurrently, the depletion of forests has led to a shrinking habitat for these creatures, restricting their mobility, access to food, and overall survival. The loss occurred gradually, not suddenly. It unfolded gradually over a period of time. However, the end outcome remained unchanged. The situation had become extremely dire by the beginning of the 20th century. In areas such as Białowieża Forest, where these animals once thrived,
To build up the wild herd, Congress sent captive bison to Yellowstone.
their population declined rapidly. Many bison were hunted and eliminated during World War I, as soldiers sought them for both sustenance and recreational purposes. In 1919, all the remaining wild bison in the forest had disappeared. Shortly after, a poacher eliminated the last wild European bison in the Caucasus Mountains. The species had vanished from its natural habitat. This could have marked the conclusion of an era. A long-standing creature, responsible for the growth of forests and the sustenance of various life forms, had abruptly disappeared from its familiar habitat. As a result, numerous forests in Europe were deprived of one of their vital inhabitants. However, the tale did not conclude at that point. A few bison managed to survive, not in their natural habitat, but in various European zoos. There were only 54 individuals left, all of which descended from just 12 ancestors. The number 12. The responsibility of carrying the fate of an entire species rested on what little remained. The phenomenon referred to as a genetic bottleneck occurs when a population must rebuild itself from a limited number of individuals. This process is challenging due to the lack of genetic diversity. However, individuals persevered and continued their efforts. Thorough and meticulous efforts commenced. Each and every creature was documented.
Biologist and wildlife filmmaker Franz Kamensen has been documenting the bison's amazing comeback.
Their lineages were meticulously monitored. Their reproduction was strategically organized. Every detail was meticulously accounted for. In 1932, a unique document was established to monitor the status of each European bison alive.
The near extinction of the bison caused an outcry among conservationists at the turn of the century.
This document meticulously tracked every individual over the years, promoting the responsible growth of the population. The numbers gradually started to increase. A crucial moment followed soon after. In 1952, a group of bison were reintroduced into their natural habitat in Białowieża Forest, the location of their original wilderness. The European bison's return to the wild was a subtle yet impactful move, marking their long-awaited homecoming after a period of absence. In the years that came after, additional bison were reintroduced to various regions across Europe. Places like Poland, Romania, Germany, and the Netherlands all joined in on this initiative. Every time bison were released, they contributed to the recovery of the population. The arrival of each new herd of bison contributed to the revival of the forests that had been lacking a crucial element. The population of European bison has increased significantly over the years, starting with only 12 original animals. Presently, there are approximately 7,000 European bison roaming freely in various parts of Europe. It has been almost 100 years in the making, this recovery, slowly and cautiously bouncing back from the brink of total devastation. Despite the advancements made, the path ahead is still incomplete. While the species has been rescued from extinction in the wild, it has not fully re-established itself in all the habitats it once inhabited. Its distribution is restricted, and it requires ongoing attention and safeguarding for its future. The European bison is unique for yet another reason. It is more than just a creature. It holds a significant meaning. In nations such as Poland and Belarus, it is recognized as a symbol of the country, embodying power, resilience, and a deep bond with the environment. The tale is anything but uncomplicated. It narrates loss and possibility, revealing the precariousness of a species on the brink of extinction and the immense undertaking needed to revive it. The European bison played a significant role in shaping the forests of Europe for many centuries. However, there was a period when it disappeared, leaving a noticeable absence in the ecosystem. Gradually, we are piecing together the once lost element. The buffalo roams among the trees once more.
Protected by the very government that had ordered their destruction, the buffalo could now recover, but within the confines of the park.
Effortlessly moving through vegetation and subtly imprinting its presence on the landscape. In this way, it contributes to restoring the harmonious equilibrium of the environment that was once present. A forest reborn. The Wilder Blean project started with a straightforward yet impactful concept. Rather than attempting to repair a declining forest with machinery and ongoing human labor, what if we reintroduced an animal that used to influence the land organically? The collaboration between Kent Wildlife Trust and Wildwood Trust resulted in the restoration of a vast woodland close to Canterbury. The primary goal was not focused on protecting the bison, but rather on preserving the integrity of the forest. In order to achieve this, they made the decision to use the European bison. The group of animals was slowly brought into a designated area within the forest that was enclosed by a fence. This section permitted them to roam around without any constraints, offering a safe environment for both the animals and observers to analyze their behavior. The process of bringing them in was done gradually. In July, the initial group to be set free consisted of 3 female bison. One of them stood out as a composed and seasoned figure, an elderly lady hailing from Scotland. At the age of approximately 18, she exuded a sense of inner power. Accompanying her were 2 youthful females from Ireland. This trio collectively became the core of the herd. Several months passed before a bull from Germany made its way to the group in December. Due to lengthy bureaucratic procedures post-Brexit, the bull's transportation was significantly delayed. However, upon his eventual arrival, the group became whole. His narrative held significant significance. He could be connected to the lineage of animals that prevented the species from dying out. Quietly, he symbolized resilience and everlastingness. However, the objective of this project was unmistakable. The reason the bison were introduced to this forest was not to assist the animals, but to improve the conditions of the woodland. The main goal was not the animals themselves, but rather using them as a means to benefit the environment. There were no additional meals given, nor was there continuous supervision by humans. Basic health care was only administered as necessary. The bison were allowed to act according to their instincts, moving, feeding, resting, and exploring in their own unique manner. And with their actions, the forest started its transformation. The significance of the European bison lies not only in its large size, but also in its behavior. This animal performs a distinct series of behaviors that collaborate to transform the forest. Despite occurring spontaneously, each action serves a specific purpose. The initial issue pertains to the removal of bark. Bison frequently strip long pieces of bark from living trees. This action can potentially harm the tree and result in its death. Initially perceived as destructive, in a forest ecosystem, a dead tree still holds significant value as it becomes a vital habitat for various organisms. Insects gradually start taking over the area. Birds seek out spots to build their nests. Bats find refuge in dark corners. Fungi thrive and expand. One decaying tree can become home to numerous creatures. Typically, it would take a long time for a tree to deteriorate to this extent. However, thanks to the presence of bison, the process can be significantly accelerated. The next action is the uprooting of trees. Bison are powerful creatures. Male adults can weigh nearly 1,000 kilograms, and they have the ability to knock down trees when they lean against them. This action results in fallen wood on the ground and gaps in the forest canopy. When the canopy opens up, the sunlight filters through to the forest floor. This transformation provides an opportunity for fresh vegetation to thrive. The emergence of flowers, grasses, and saplings signals the rejuvenation of the area. The previously quiet and shadowy spaces are now teeming with life. The third action is indulging in self-pity. Bison enjoy rolling around on the ground and utilizing their bodies to excavate the soil, resulting in shallow depressions or tiny cavities in the ground. These areas of exposed soil hold significant value. Within a forest filled with vegetation, finding open spaces is a rare occurrence. Certain plants and insects find homes in these compact areas. Each wallow is a bustling hub of activity, teeming with vitality. Despite its unassuming appearance, this plays a crucial part in maintaining biodiversity in the forest. The next behavior involves grazing selectively. Bison have selective eating habits when it comes to plants. They have preferences for certain plants, which results in a diverse range of vegetation on the forest floor. This diversity prevents one plant species from dominating the entire area. Having a variety of plant species promotes a larger insect population that in turn becomes a food source for birds and other creatures. This interaction extends upwards throughout the various levels of the forest. Increased diversity at the base level contributes to an overall diversity in the entire ecosystem. When these four actions occur simultaneously, they generate a unique phenomenon. The forest starts to transition into a more expansive, diverse, and vibrant environment. Sunlight filters through the canopy, allowing plants to flourish once again. Insects begin to thrive, attracting a larger population of birds and other creatures. This triggers a continuous process of regeneration within the ecosystem. The impressive thing about this project is that it is ongoing. The bison carry out their activities daily, covering the land. No artificial tools or set timelines are required. The operation follows a natural and consistent flow. Human intervention can temporarily improve the condition of a forest. Trees may be harvested, and land may be cleared for various purposes. However, these activities must be ongoing and come at a cost in terms of resources and labor. The bison carry out their tasks in a unique manner, embodying their actions in their daily existence. Their presence is a driving force behind the formation of the forest. The uniqueness of the Wilder Blean project lies in this aspect. The focus is not on exerting power, but rather on having faith in the ability of nature to self-heal under appropriate circumstances. So what results were recorded, and how good were they? Let's dive in. When change came so fast, the transformation of West Blean and Thorndon Woods commenced shortly after the bison's arrival, catching everyone off guard. The previously tranquil forest suddenly began to show unexpected activity after years of calm. In a short span of time, the female leader, known for her composed and authoritative presence, commenced her tasks. She delved deep into the dense shrubs, clearing out the overgrown areas of the forest with determined strength. Vegetation that had remained undisturbed for years was now exposed. This event was not orchestrated by individuals, nor was it detailed in any instructional manual. However, it turned out to be precisely what the forest required. As she continued on her journey, tiny trails started to form. These small pathways eventually transformed into spacious paths, cutting through the dense woods. Previously inaccessible regions became more navigable. The emergence of these clearings signified a significant development. Illuminate. After many years, sunlight finally made its way through the dense canopy to the forest floor, bringing warmth and light to areas that had long been in darkness. This small shift in the environment sparked the beginning of a new cycle of life. The tiniest organisms also reacted. Beetle larvae emerged promptly from the excrement of the European bison, suggesting they were ready for this event. Shortly thereafter, fungus started to develop, extending over the dung and enhancing the vitality of the ground. Simultaneously, the trees underwent transformation. As the bark was removed, certain trees began to deteriorate. Gradually, these trees would turn into lifeless timber. Within a woodland, life thrives within dead timber. It serves as a habitat for various creatures such as insects, birds, bats, and others. The appearance of harm turned out to be the beginning of a fresh opportunity. A comprehensive monitoring system was established to observe these alterations. It is among the biggest programs of its type in the United Kingdom and is expected to be ongoing for a long time. Yet, right from the start, the outcomes were evident. The slow worm population has seen a rise. In the year 2021, there were 36 slow worms recorded, but by 2023, the number had increased to 58. This suggests an improvement in the environmental conditions for them. Grass snakes started appearing more frequently, indicating a flourishing and harmonious environment in the woodland. The rapid increase in their sightings suggested an enhancement in the ecosystem. The presence of these creatures indicated the restoration of a healthy habitat. Plants started popping up in locations where they were previously absent. New species began to sprout in regions where the soil had been disrupted. These were plants that thrived on sunlight and open ground. Prior to the arrival of the bison, they had no opportunity to flourish due to the dense, impenetrable canopy. Now, they were discovering room for habitation. The herd expanded as the landscape transformed. In September 2022, only 2 months after the initial female arrivals, an extraordinary event took place. The matriarch of the group welcomed the birth of a calf, marking the first time a European bison calf had been born in a British forest in millennia. It was a serene moment, yet rich in significance. Another calf was born by the conclusion of the year 2023. This particular calf was unique in a distinct manner. It was conceived and brought into the world right in the heart of the forest, with no knowledge of any other place as home. In the summer of 2024, a third calf was born. The tiny foursome had blossomed into an expanding household. The bond between the animals and the forest deepened with the presence of each new life. The woodland was transformed from simply a habitat for bison to a sanctuary where they found their place. But this quick progress brought unlikely questions and conspiracies. Stick around. The quiet debate around a living forest. The Wilder Blean project has injected vitality into a forest close to Canterbury. Despite the positive impact it has had, there are differing opinions on the matter. The focus is not on the European bison per se, but rather on the implications of their presence in a country like Britain. In Britain, there are few areas of wild, untouched nature. Most land is owned, shaped, and maintained in some manner. The general expectation is for nature to appear orderly and controlled, with forests being maintained to feel peaceful, organized, and well-kept. But the bison do not generate such a forest. At first sight, the changes they bring may appear rough and damaged. Trees are toppled, bark is stripped off, the ground becomes uneven and chaotic. What was once dense cover now reveals open spaces. The once seamless and enclosed canopy starts to fracture. Some individuals perceive this as incorrect. It questions the traditional belief that a well-managed natural environment should appear neat and organized. A forest influenced by bison does not conform to this belief. It appears untamed, uneven, and constantly evolving. It may appear chaotic, yet this chaos is teeming with vitality. A silent conflict has emerged due to the varying perspectives individuals hold towards the environment. In addition to ethical considerations, there are also logistical issues to address. The UK has stringent regulations regarding potentially harmful wildlife, which restrict the bison from freely roaming alongside tourists in the open areas. The forest boasts numerous scenic trails that attract visitors daily, who seek to explore the surroundings. Special constructions called bison bridges were created as a solution. These structures provide a safe pathway for humans to walk above, enabling the animals to roam freely below. This concept exemplifies the delicate equilibrium that needs to be maintained between wildlife and human actions. If the project were to expand beyond enclosed spaces, it would give rise to fresh inquiries. Who holds the rights to the property? Who will take the blame in case of mishaps? What is the appropriate proximity for individuals to be near such massive creatures? These inquiries are complex and lack straightforward solutions. A convincing and forceful point is being made from the opposing perspective. Maintaining traditional forest areas has become increasingly challenging. The expenses associated with this upkeep are rising, and ongoing dedication is necessary. Despite the relentless work put into maintenance, the outcomes are frequently underwhelming. Forests are gradually losing their original abundance. The bison provide a unique experience. They perform their tasks effortlessly. They do not require compensation. They operate without adhering to a set timetable. They do not rely on constantly evolving strategies. Every day, they traverse the terrain, molding it in a manner unattainable by modern technology, and they are constantly engaging in this activity. The adjustments made by them occur more rapidly than anticipated. The forest promptly reacts. Illumination reappears, flora flourishes, creatures trail behind. Vitality commences to expand once more. That is the reason why the project persists, despite the ongoing controversy surrounding it. Both sides possess valid points, with a mix of correctness and incorrectness. One side prioritizes security, organization, and authority. The opposing side recognizes the importance of allowing natural processes to take place, even if they appear chaotic, in order to achieve true healing. As individuals engage in conversation and ponder, the forest undergoes constant transformation. The tale of the European bison enriches the current situation even further. Starting off with a limited number of creatures in captivity, the population has now expanded to include thousands roaming freely throughout Europe.
The European bison could be found almost all over Europe.
This achievement stands out as a major conservation triumph of the previous century. In July of 2022, the lengthy voyage came to an end in the Kent forest. Today, trees being stripped will eventually transform into lifeless, standing wood. As time passes, they will provide a habitat for various creatures such as insects, birds, and other wildlife. Fallen trees lying on the ground will offer protection and sustenance for numerous species in the forest. The young calves born in this forest will only know this location as their home. They will become familiar with the resources available to them, such as food sources, resting spots, and water sources. Like their predecessors, they will have an impact on the landscape, just as their ancestors did before they vanished from the area. There will be an ongoing program to observe these changes for an extended period. It is scheduled to last until the year 2050. By then, the eldest bison born in this area will almost reach 30 years of age. The surrounding forest will have undergone noticeable transformations. It won't appear tidy or meticulously organized. The appearance will appear more spacious, diverse, and vibrant. Some areas may look fragmented, yet that very quality adds a deeper beauty. This forest is not reverting, but evolving. It reflects a new approach where humans step back, allowing nature and wildlife to take the lead and respond naturally. The bison are removing the bark. Insects start to appear. The wood undergoes a transformation. The ground is illuminated by light. Seeds start their growth process. The forest gradually begins to come back to life with each passing moment. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and also click the next video shown on your screen.